Rain drummed softly against the glass, the kind of sound that blurs thoughts into silence. Lena stood by the window, her reflection a faint ghost in the dim light. It was past midnight when her phone rang. The name on the screen made her chest tighten. Iris. For a moment, Lena hesitated. It had been nearly a year since her sister's voice had last broken the distance between them. Then she answered. Lena. The voice was small, shaky. Can I come over? There was no explanation, no preface, only that quiet plea. Of course, Lena whispered. Come home. She didn't wake Ryan immediately. She only turned on the porch light and waited. Outside, the street shone wet and deserted. A few minutes later, headlights carved through the mist, and a pale figure stepped out, clutching a suitcase like a lifeline. When Iris reached the door, her hair clung to her face, her eyes tired yet searching. Lena opened her arms without thinking. The hug lasted longer than either expected, the kind where breath and heartbeat find the same rhythm. Ryan's asleep, Lena murmured. You can rest in the guest room. Iris nodded, voice almost gone. Thank you, Len. I just needed somewhere quiet. By the time Lena fetched her a towel and warm tea, Iris had already curled on the bed, half asleep, safe but fragile. Lena stood in the doorway, watching her sister breathe, and a strange mix of relief and uncertainty filled her chest. Morning came gray and heavy. Ryan found Lena sitting at the kitchen counter, hands wrapped around an untouched cup of coffee. She came back last night, Lena said before he asked. I heard the car. Ryan's tone was gentle. Is she all right? She didn't say much. He reached across the counter, brushing her knuckles with his thumb. Let her settle. Sometimes silence says enough. Lena gave a faint smile, grateful for his calm. She'd always admired how Ryan met every storm with quiet steadiness. Yet this time, a subtle edge of unease pressed inside her. Not because she distrusted him, but because she didn't trust the balance between them all. As the day stretched on, Iris stayed mostly in her room. Lena cooked soup, folded laundry, listened to the house breathing around her. Every sound, footsteps, doors, even the ticking clock, felt louder than usual. By evening, Ryan came home with flowers. For your sister, he said, placing a small bunch of lilies in a vase. They reminded me of her drawings. Lena looked at him, then at the flowers. White, pure, almost too delicate. You remembered. She used to sketch them every spring. They exchanged a look that carried memory, sympathy, and a shadow of something unspoken. Later that night, the three of them sat together for dinner. The atmosphere was polite, careful, as if each word had to be placed gently between them. How long will you stay? Ryan asked. Iris stirred her spoon, eyes low. Just a few weeks, until I figure things out. You're welcome as long as you need, Lena added quickly. This house has space, and so do we. Iris gave her a small, grateful smile. I'll help around. I don't want to be a burden. You never were, Lena said softly. Ryan watched the exchange, his gaze thoughtful but kind. The conversation drifted to lighter topics. Weather, old movies, the neighborhood. Yet beneath the surface, tension hummed like a hidden wire. After dinner, Lena found herself by the window again. Rain had started once more, faint and rhythmic. Through the glass, she saw Ryan carrying Iris's suitcase from the hallway to the storage room. He caught Lena watching, and their eyes met briefly. There was no accusation there, just quiet acknowledgement. They both knew this would change something between them. When she turned away, her reflection seemed older, as if one night had folded a new weight into her shoulders. In bed, Ryan reached over, his hand resting lightly on hers. You did the right thing, he whispered. I hope so, she replied, eyes fixed on the ceiling. Sometimes love doesn't know when to stop giving. He didn't answer, only squeezed her hand. Outside, thunder rolled far away, a sound that promised both distance and approach. Lena closed her eyes, the echo settling inside her. She didn't know that this night would mark the beginning of an unspoken test, of trust, of patience, and of the quiet space where love either grows or fades. Morning light fell soft and gold across the kitchen table. Iris sat quietly, stirring her tea, while Lena chopped fruit nearby. The air carried the smell of toast and something unspoken, comfort mixed with restraint. "How did you sleep?" Lena asked without looking up. "Better than I expected," Iris said, smiling faintly. "It's strange, though. Everything feels the same, yet different." Lena paused, knife still in her hand. "That's what time does. It rearranges things even when we don't notice." Ryan entered a few minutes later, still in his work shirt, sleeves rolled up. He greeted both women with a gentle warmth that seemed to ease the edges of silence. "Morning, ladies. Smells good in here." He reached for a mug, and for a brief second, Iris's hand brushed his. They both pulled back quickly, awkwardly polite. Lena noticed but said nothing. Her heart gave a small, involuntary flutter, half pain, half confusion. The days that followed found a rhythm of their own. Iris helped in the garden, her laughter beginning to return in fragments. Ryan often joined her after work, offering small suggestions about the soil or the plants. Lena would watch them from the kitchen window, not with suspicion, but with something quieter, deeper, a fragile awareness that closeness has many forms. One afternoon, Lena stepped outside with lemonade. Iris knelt by the roses, her hair pulled up, sunlight scattered over her face. Ryan was beside her, brushing dirt from his hands. "You two make this garden look alive again," Lena said softly. Ryan smiled. "Team effort." Iris looked up, meeting her sister's gaze. "You've given me peace, Lena. I didn't realize how much I needed that." Lena set the tray down and joined them. Maybe we all needed it. There was warmth then, real, shared. For a while no one spoke, and the garden seemed to breathe with them. That evening, while setting the table, Lena caught her reflection in the mirror. She studied the faint lines at the corners of her eyes, the way her smile no longer lingered as easily. "You're being foolish," she told herself. "It's only kindness, nothing else, but in the quiet of the night, doubt can whisper louder than truth." She found Ryan reading in the living room, glasses perched on his nose. The lamp cast a soft halo of light around him. "You've been spending time with her," Lena said gently, sitting beside him. He lowered the book. "I have. She needed company, and maybe I needed to feel useful." "I know." She forced a smile. "It's just, sometimes I look at you both and wonder if I'm outside my own story." Ryan reached for her hand. "You're the center of it. Don't let your thoughts tell you otherwise." His touch was steady, but his eyes held a quiet worry, the kind that hides between love and guilt. The next morning, Lena woke early and walked through the hallway. Iris's door was slightly open. She could hear faint humming, a song from their childhood. The sound softened her heart. She entered quietly. The room smelled of lavender and rain-damp clothes. Iris looked up from her sketchbook. "Couldn't sleep?" Lena asked. "I was drawing," Iris said, showing her the page. It was a sketch of the garden, and in the center, 3 figures, 2 close together, one standing a little apart. Lena's throat tightened. "That's beautiful." "It's not finished," Iris said, looking away. "I can't decide where to place the light." Lena smiled faintly. "Maybe it's not about where the light goes, but where it's coming from. Iris blinked, touched by the words. You always knew how to say things that feel like truth. Sometimes truth is the hardest thing to keep. That night it rained again. Ryan sat on the porch, listening to the drops against the wooden railing. Lena joined him, wrapping a shawl around her shoulders. She's healing, he said softly. Yes, Lena replied. But I think I'm learning something too. What's that? That love isn't always possession. Sometimes it's just letting space exist without fear. Ryan looked at her for a long moment. You're stronger than you think, Lena. She smiled faintly, but her chest ached with the effort of believing it. Inside, the lights flickered as thunder rolled. Through the open door, they saw Iris standing in the hallway, half in shadow, listening. Their eyes met. 3 lives woven together by silence, kindness, and the fragile threads of something unnamed. Lena turned toward Ryan, her voice barely above a whisper. Tell me we're okay. He hesitated just long enough for her to feel it. We are, he said at last. We will be. But even as he spoke, Lena knew something was shifting. Slowly, quietly, like rain soaking into the roots before the storm truly begins. Days blurred into weeks, and the house began to breathe in new ways. The laughter that once felt rare now returned like an old friend, faint but familiar. Yet beneath that comfort, Lena felt a pulse of something she couldn't name, a current beneath calm waters. Iris had started painting again. Canvases leaned against the walls, colors blooming across her room like quiet confessions. Ryan often paused to admire them before leaving for work. She's talented, he'd say softly, almost to himself. Lena would nod, forcing a smile. She always was. That afternoon, while Ryan worked late, Lena stood outside Iris's room. The door was ajar. Inside, Iris was sketching Ryan's profile from memory. His jawline, the tilt of his head, the faint crease between his brows. Lena froze, her breath caught. Iris didn't notice at first. She was lost in concentration, her pencil moving like it knew the truth her lips couldn't speak. When she finally looked up, their eyes met. Silence filled the room, thick and heavy. It's not what you think, Iris said quickly. I'm not thinking anything, Lena replied, but her voice trembled. It's beautiful, Iris set the sketch aside. He's been kind, that's all. After everything that happened, I didn't expect kindness again. Lena nodded, the ache spreading through her chest. Ryan has a way of making people feel seen. And you? Iris asked quietly. Do you still feel seen? The question lingered between them like mist. Lena smiled, but her eyes glistened. Some days more than others. That night, the tension folded itself into silence. Lena and Ryan lay in bed, backs turned, a breath's distance apart. Rain whispered against the windows, the same song that had followed Iris's arrival. Do you ever wonder, Lena said softly, why people drift even when nothing goes wrong? Ryan exhaled slowly. Because love isn't a still pond, Lena, it moves. Sometimes toward us, sometimes away. She turned to face him. And if it moves away, then we move with it, he said, his voice gentle but uncertain. She studied his face, the man she'd built years with, shared memories, shared dreams. Yet tonight there was something unreadable in his eyes, not guilt, not distance, just quiet searching. The next day, Lena found Iris on the porch, her sketchbook open, a mug of tea beside her. I'm sorry about yesterday, Iris said before Lena could speak. I shouldn't have drawn him. You don't have to apologize, Lena replied. Art sees what words can't, Iris smiled faintly. Sometimes that's the problem. Lena sat beside her. You know, when we were little, you used to paint me. All those bright dresses and smiling faces. I remember, Iris whispered. Back then, everything I loved felt simple. Lena looked at the horizon where the clouds were thinning. It's never simple, But it can still be honest. For the first time, Iris reached out and held her sister's hand. I don't want to take anything from you, Lena. Lena squeezed back gently. You couldn't, even if you tried. That evening, Ryan came home early. He carried takeaway boxes, trying to lighten the air. Dinner's on me tonight, he said, smiling. They sat together, laughter returning in fragments. Yet every now and then, Lena caught Ryan watching Iris when she spoke, not with desire, but with quiet concern. It should have comforted her. Instead, it broke something small inside her chest. The part that had once believed love meant certainty. After dinner, Iris went upstairs. Lena began clearing the table when Ryan approached from behind. Are you angry with me? He asked. She turned, surprised. Why would I be? Because I care about her. Maybe more openly than I should. Lena's eyes softened. I married a man who feels too deeply. I knew that. I only worry what that depth will cost us. He looked down. I'd never hurt you. I know. She smiled faintly. But sometimes hurt doesn't come from betrayal. It comes from love stretching too far. He didn't reply, only brushed her arm gently before walking away. His touch lingered like warmth fading into cool air. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She walked to the garden, where the air still smelled of rain. The moonlight silvered the leaves, and the house behind her glowed faintly with quiet light. She saw Iris's shadow at the upstairs window, then Ryan's crossing behind it. Maybe it was nothing, a passing moment, two people speaking. But the image settled in her mind like a seed, small but alive. Lena closed her eyes, letting the wind touch her face. She remembered something her mother once said. Love isn't about who stays close. It's about who stays true. As she stood there, the night felt heavy with questions, none of which she was ready to answer. When she finally turned back toward the house, her reflection in the window looked different. Calmer, maybe, but lonelier too, somewhere inside. The faint sound of laughter echoed. Not cruel, not loud. Just distant enough to remind her that even in love, there are rooms you can't enter. And that realization, quiet and deep, was